Welcome back to CU Coin Value. Today, we're diving into the fascinating top 5 USA 1-cent old coin history and value of the 1969 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark. Is it just another penny, or could it be worth a fortune? Let's find out. The 1969 1-cent coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which started in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By 1969, the coin still featured Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced in 1959. Now, if your 1969 coin doesn't have a mint mark, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint didn't use mint marks on cents until 1980, so don't be surprised if there's no letter on your coin. The 1969 cent was minted as part of the regular coinage for everyday use. In the late 1960s, the U.S. was experiencing high demand for coins due to a growing economy and increased circulation needs. Over 1.1 billion 1-cent coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year to meet this demand. The real excitement around the 1969 1-cent coin comes from its potential for errors and unique features. One of the most famous is the 1969 S double die obverse variety. Although the S indicates it's from San Francisco, collectors often confuse these details, so always verify your coin carefully. For the no mint mark 1969 cent, it's yes inherently rare, but its condition can drastically affect its value. Coins in exceptional condition, graded as mint state, MS, are highly sought after by collectors. A well-preserved coin can fetch a premium over its face value. So, is the 1969 no mint mark 1-cent coin really valuable? The truth is, in circulated condition, this coin is usually worth only its face value, 1 cent. However, uncirculated or high-grade examples can sell for a few dollars. For instance, an MS-67 graded coin might sell for $205 to $3,466, but don't mistake it for the famous double die coin, which can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. In the case of a regular 1969 no mint mark cent, the maximum value depends on its condition. As we mentioned, an MS-67 example could fetch around $3,046, while coins in lower grades are worth less. Keep in mind, finding one in pristine condition is rare due to how pennies circulate. For comparison, the 1969 S double die obverse variety has reached auction prices of over $100,000. But that's a different story and a completely different coin. So, the 1969 no mint mark 1-cent coin is an interesting piece of U.S. history, but its value largely depends on its condition. If you think you've struck gold with a 1969 penny, get it professionally graded to confirm its worth. Next up, the 1962 D 1-cent coin. Could this vintage penny be a hidden treasure? How much is it worth today, and can its value rise in the future? Let's break it all down. The 1962 D 1-cent coin is part of the Lincoln cent series, which was introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. In 1959, the reverse design was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial, replacing the original wheat ears design. The D mint mark on this coin shows it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most prolific mints in the United States. In 1962, over 1.79 billion Lincoln cents were minted in Denver. That's a staggering number, making it one of the most common pennies of its time. So, what is this coin worth today? For most circulated examples, the value remains at face value, just 1 cent. However, if you have an uncirculated or high-grade coin, the story changes. Coins graded as MS-65 or higher by professional grading services can fetch anywhere from $5,457 to $6,546 depending on their condition and luster. Special varieties, such as coins with errors or unique features, can increase the value significantly. For example, a 1962 D coin with a double die error or other striking anomalies can sell for hundreds of dollars. Now, could the 1962 D penny become more valuable in the future? It's possible. As more coins from this era are lost, damaged, or melted down, higher-grade specimens will become rarer. This scarcity can drive up their value, especially among collectors. Additionally, error coins and beautifully preserved examples always remain in demand, making them solid investments for the future. However, for regular circulated coins, significant appreciation is less likely unless they are in near-perfect condition. So, what's the maximum value of a 1962D penny? In circulated condition, it's typically worth only 1 cent. But in uncirculated mint state MS grades, the coin can sell for $1,556 or more. The highest recorded price for a 1962D penny was over $2,000 for a coin graded MS 67RD, an almost flawless example with full red luster. Error coins and unique varieties can exceed even this amount, depending on their rarity. In conclusion, the 1962D 1-cent coin is a fascinating piece of history, but its value largely depends on its condition and whether it has any unique features. While most of these coins won't make you rich, uncirculated or error varieties can fetch impressive prices. Could it become more valuable in the future? It's possible, especially if you hold onto high-grade examples. If you think you have a rare or valuable 1962D penny, consider having it professionally graded to unlock its true potential. Next up, today, we're diving into the history and value of the 1979 USA 1-cent coin, also known as the 1979 penny with no mint mark. Stick around to find out if it's worth holding on to. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1979 penny, just like most modern pennies, was part of the series of coins minted by the U.S. Mint. But here's an interesting fact. This particular penny was struck in a period where there was a noticeable shift in coin production. By 1979, the U.S. Mint had moved from producing coins primarily at the Philadelphia Mint to also including the Denver Mint. Now, the 1979 penny with no mint mark comes from the Philadelphia Mint. You might be wondering, what does that mean for its value? Well, this year was a bit tricky because of the changes in minting processes. While the Denver Mint was busy producing the D-mint mark coins, Philadelphia Mint often didn't place a mint mark on their pennies, making these coins unique. Now let's talk about the design. The 1979 penny features the classic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been on the penny since 1909 and is still in use today. On the reverse, you'll find the iconic 1 cent inscription surrounded by a laurel wreath, which was designed by Frank Gasparo. Now, let's get to the important part, the value. The 1979 penny with no mint mark, while not exceedingly rare, is still in demand with collectors. Typically, its value is pretty high in circulated condition, ranging from $561 to $6,445. However, if you have one in uncirculated or proof condition, it can be worth a lot more, sometimes reaching between $610 and $5,677. Rare errors or varieties, such as double die obverse or reverse, can skyrocket its value, with some selling for hundreds of dollars at auctions. In general, this coin's value isn't extremely high, but it's worthless either. It really depends on the coin's condition and whether it has any special features. Now, why was the 1979 penny minted in the first place? Well, like any coin, it was produced for everyday circulation. The U.S. government needed a way to provide small denominations for transactions, and the penny has always been a crucial part of the U.S. currency system. It's a symbolic part of the economy, although, as we all know, it's not worth as much as it once was. The production of pennies continued throughout the years, though debates over their cost-effectiveness continue to this day. So, is the 1979 penny something you should be looking to sell or hold on to? It depends on the collector's market. While this penny isn't exactly rare, some collectors do seek coins from this period, especially if they're in pristine condition or have unique minting errors. Coins from the late 70s and early 80s still have a following, particularly those that show signs of historical significance. So, that's a quick rundown on the 1979 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark. Is it worth much? Well, for most people, not really, but if you've got one in excellent condition, it might be worth a bit more. Next up, the 1989 USA 1-cent coin. You might be wondering, is it really worth all that much? Let's find out. Let's kick things off with some background. The 1989 D penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the ongoing series of pennies produced by the U.S. Mint, which began in 1909 with the iconic Lincoln portrait on the obverse. What makes the 1989 D penny special is not necessarily its design but the context in which it was produced. In 1989, the U.S. economy was in the middle of a significant period of change. The U.S. Mint had been ramping up production to keep up with demand, and coins from this era are now considered to have a certain nostalgic value for collectors. But despite all the production, the 1989 D penny isn't particularly rare. It's more about its place in history and the fact that some collectors are still on the hunt for it. Now, let's talk about the design. The 1989 D penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" inscribed above. On the reverse side, we see the famous 1-cent denomination surrounded by a laurel wreath, designed by Frank Gasparo. The overall design hasn't changed much since the early 1900s, but it's this continuity that makes the coin so appealing to collectors. So, why is this coin considered valuable? The truth is, the 1989 D penny isn't worth a fortune in most cases. The value of a standard 1989 D penny in average circulated condition is only around 1 cent. However, the coin's value goes up significantly when you look at its condition. If you find an uncirculated penny or one in near-perfect condition, it could be worth much more, even up to a few dollars. What's more interesting is that some rare error varieties, like double die or minting mistakes, can push the value up even higher. If you're lucky enough to find one of these, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and demand. The reason people are so keen to own these is because of the potential to find a rare variety or error, which could make it an incredibly lucrative find for collectors. So, why does this coin still attract so much attention? For one, it's part of the ongoing series of Lincoln pennies, which have always been popular among collectors. People also love the idea of finding rare, error coins, and the 1989 D penny, while not rare in itself, can still hold those surprise treasures. The allure of finding something unique, even within a common series of coins, is what drives collectors to keep an eye on pennies from the late 80s, especially when they're in pristine condition or exhibit minting errors. So, is the 1989 D penny really that valuable? Well, in the grand scheme of things, it's yes as valuable as some of the rarer coins out there, like the 1909 SVDB penny or certain rare 1943 copper pennies. However, its value is elevated by its age, the potential for minting errors, and its place in the larger series of Lincoln pennies. For most people, the 1989 D penny won't be worth much more than face value unless it's in great condition or has some sort of error. Next up, the 1995 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark. Is it just another common penny, or does it have some hidden value? Stick around, because you might be surprised by what we uncover. Let's get into it. Let's start by talking about the 1995 1-cent coin's history. The U.S. Mint produced over 8 billion pennies that year, and if you have one with no mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, you might be thinking, that's a lot of pennies. How could this be worth anything special? Well, not every penny is created equal, and there are some important factors that can affect its value. First, let's talk about its design. The 1995 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. On the obverse, we have Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the iconic Lincoln Memorial. It's a coin that's familiar to most, but there are still some things that can make this one stand out. Now, let's get into the value. Most 1995 pennies in circulated condition are worth just 1 cent. But, if you have one in excellent or uncirculated condition, the value can be much higher. For instance, an uncirculated 1995 penny in top condition might be worth between $10 to $50. If it's in a graded condition, that value could rise even more, depending on its grade. But here's the important thing. If you're looking to sell your 1995 penny, the condition is key. A well-preserved coin that's been kept safe, perhaps in a sealed holder or a coin flip, could fetch a higher price. If your penny shows any signs of wear and tear, it might not be worth much more than its face value. So, should you keep your 1995 penny in a sealed holder? Absolutely. If you think it's in great condition, sealing it could help preserve its value over time. But remember, most 1995 pennies won't have significant value unless they are in mint condition or show some form of rarity. So if you come across one in mint condition, it might be worth getting it graded by a professional. Now, where can you buy and sell this coin? You can find 1995 pennies online through auction sites like eBay or at local coin shops. But if you want to sell it, I recommend checking out reputable platforms like eBay, where you can auction your coin to get the best price. You can also visit local coin dealers who specialize in rare coins to get an appraisal and see if they're interested in buying it. Remember, while most 1995 pennies aren't worth much, rare errors or special features like a double die or other misstrikes can significantly increase the value. Always check your coins carefully and make sure to compare them to a reliable guide to assess their true worth. So, what's the final verdict? Should you keep the 1995 1-cent coin? If it's in great condition, yes, it's worth hanging on to. But if it's just a regular, worn penny, it might not fetch more than its face value. Always check its condition, and if you're unsure, consider getting it appraised. I hope you found this video helpful. If you've got a 1995 penny or any other old coins, make sure to check their condition and consider sealing or grading them if they show potential value. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more coin tips and info. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.